Hey, Jason, what's this dude's last name? Gerard
Khalil.
Surely people who watch this podcast must know the Completionist YouTube channel, right?
Been around forever.
Yeah, he's been around forever. The primary show that he does, in addition to lots of other things, is a show where he 100% games more or less and reviews them in a highly produced, very I don't know, slick kind of a editing style. Right?
Nailed it.
I give the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove its completionist rating of completed.
And then he had a huge viral video, the past year where he bought every single eShop game before it closed down.
Oh yeah, on 3DS, right?
What was Wii U and 3DS? He bought all the entire library.
That's kind of cool. I mean, it seems like the kind of thing you could easily rip, pirate.
It all fit on like 4 SD cards, I think. It was like a couple hard drives and a few SD cards.
Like my Wii U, I was looking for ways to expand the internal storage, and you don't have a lot of good options there. I think you can have a hard drive if you must. Everybody must know by now, like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, a month ago now, Carl Jobst, is that how you pronounce his last name? Jobst?
I always want to say Jobst because it's like a Scandinavian kind of thing.
High-pitched English guy.
Yeah.
And famous for, I don't know, being sued by Billy Mitchell for drama related to Billy Mitchell.
He should send Billy Mitchell's flowers every Christmas because that man has built a career off talking about Billy Mitchell.
No, there's a lot of Billy Mitchell, and it seems like it's a lot. It's like to us with Bimmy, it's him with Billy Mitchell. But it's if we went harder on Bimmy,
it's right.
If Bimmy found it suitable to sue us. Yeah, him and some ordinary gamer guy's name is, I think, Mutar, right?
Something Mudahar, like that. I think.
Yeah, both of them have huge YouTube channels. I remember I first saw Some Ordinary Gamers doing like a takedown of Ethan from H3H3, and I think Ethan did responses to it. That's how I became aware of him. But anyway, these guys, the two of them, interestingly, I thought that was kind of interesting. The fact they acted in concert. I don't know, this kind of investigative journalism thing on YouTube where they were like, this completionist guy has a charity called the Open Hand Foundation for dementia research. And he's been collecting a whole lot of money to the tune of $600,000+ over the course of the last, many years. And it's never made its way to any charity. It's sitting with the foundation still.
According to the tax filings, the Open Hand Foundation was sitting on over $650,000 worth of donations it had received. And when me and Mutahar spoke with Gerard, he assured us they still had all of the money and were ready to donate it.
And so they started kind of poking at that, came out with some videos saying, hey, these guys never donated. They interviewed Gerard on, they did a Discord call. They posted some of that. When they brought this up with Gerard, he said that, his family, his brother and father, right? They manage a lot of that side of the company, and that he, they didn't reveal this till later, but they had some kind of a private quarrel over the fact that this happened. And Gerard became kind of hip to it later, said it wasn't cool that it hadn't been actually donated to anybody, and we got to do something right away.
I was made aware in 2021 when the money hadn't moved yet. Okay. And that's what made me go, that's not cool. And that's when I got personally involved to move it. And
did anyone
2021 last year, 2022.
We all, the three of us who've been talking about this since we first heard about it, that's kind of all we knew at first. And we said, well, that just sounds like incompetent YouTube channel can't get the money where it needs to go. But it's based on the receipts presented at the time, it sure seemed like all the money was intact. It hadn't been spent or anything like that. So it didn't seem like there was any fraud. The two YouTubers, they looked deeper into the foundation's finances, and they found like a golf tournament and some streams, and anything that was event related had like a history of bringing in donation money. And then after some time, like they weren't like reporting expenses or something. There was some major change in it all gets really boring at a certain point and difficult to follow.
Their follow-up videos were a lot less, not like they were less interesting, but I think they were a lot less grounded in facts, and they were more just like speculative.
Yeah, because they look at all the sponsors, and there's documentation about like, oh, how much each of the sponsors would have donated, and it's not in any of the like at least reportings that are online or whatever. So they're like, oh well, that means the money's missing or it's not accounted for, but they can only really speculate how much money that is, and the only money that is really accounted for is the Tiltify money through the Indie World event. But then even the Indie World event, like during the event, Gerard's blabbing about, all the bits and subscriptions and everything is going to all go to charity. And that doesn't really show up in any of the filings. So
all bits, all donations, all super chats, all YouTube memberships, basically anything that's tied to donating or subscribing in a financial way to us is going to charity. We're not touching any of it. It's all going for a good cause.
With all charity stuff, it's really hard to figure out really what's going on.
Yeah, and I guess the thing worth mentioning is at a certain point, the tenor of the other YouTubers became like, oh, we're really very suspicious that fraud took place. In fact, on Carl's Discord, he was saying stuff like, this is fraud. I have a lot of evidence of it. He may face jail time. They started kind of really delighting in like, I think that this guy did it.
And on Carl's videos, he'd be like, make sure you like call the IRS and file a complaint. And it's like, I don't know if I'd be doing that.
I'm going to put a link to where you can raise a complaint in the description. And I hope that many of you consider taking a couple of minutes to do so.
Gerard was silent on the issue for a long time, for like almost a month. And as soon as we saw it, we were like, why doesn't he just, if the money's just sitting there and it's just, they've been struggling or failing to donate it, why not just say like, hey, we want to thank Carl and the other guy for calling us out on this, keeping us accountable. We do, of course, have all the money, of course. We've actually just been having a hard time donating this due to the fact that it's restricted donations or something. Because now the argument is the reason it was never donated was because it was a restricted donation. In other words, we were waiting until it was a certain sum, then we donate it, that's not what he said on his call with those guys. He said like, I didn't know it hadn't been donated and I was pissed off to find out it wasn't donated.
And during the Indie World streams, he's like always talking about, this money's going here, it's going here, we're donating this, it's helping these people. So he's always talking it up. It's going places and it doesn't go anywhere.
We're soon going to be partnering up with the Alzheimer's Association, currently working with the University of San Francisco, and we're kind of one of their main funding support partners.
It's right to be suspicious because, that doesn't square up. Yeah.
He lied to cover the fact that his brother and father incompetently failed to donate this money. Those guys said, hey, this is really bad. Look at this golf tournament. Look at look at all these strange changes year to year, but some of them were explainable by COVID and it was hard. It's hard to follow. But then Gerard finally, after a month, it was the silence that was kind of deafening.
Now that he has responded, do you think he would have been better off responding like the day of, or do you think it was the right play to wait a month?
Why not just talk right? I mean, I know why he didn't just talk right away. It was because he really needed
to get their story straight.
Yeah, to get his story straight. But
well, I mean, he needs to confer with the family. You need to remember this isn't like Gerard's charity; it's his family's charity. So, like, he's only like a part of that. He's the public face of it because he's like a public figure more so than any of his other family members. But he wasn't like the guy calling the shots with his charity, from what I understand.
Yeah, and he made sure to mention that in his response. He's like, and I do want you all to know that I had nothing. I'm really just uninvolved. I'm like, why are you saying that?
My father runs an annual golf tournament. I would often be present at these events, but beyond giving an occasional speech, I was not and still am not involved in any of the event planning.
Well, he said he had nothing to do with the golf events. He said he attended, but he had nothing to do with planning them. Also, they didn't happen the last few years because COVID.
Why is he stepping down from his role on the board or whatever?
I don't know. Just because of the outrage, I guess.
I mean, he does apologize because he told people it went places where it didn't.
If I'm him, I want to disown that I was ever involved with this charity at all, because it's nothing but bad publicity for him. The charity wasn't like his company. His company is separate from the charity. Like, he has a company that like makes YouTube videos, which is not the charity. They're two different things.
I thought he and his family came up with the idea for the charity because his mom died of dementia.
They did, but they did this like 20 something years ago when he was still a kid. Like, this charity has been a thing since he was a kid. It's not like he had anything to do with creating it. He was just kind of like, born into it. So he's in he's on the board or whatever.
Okay, I get it.
From what I understand.
So his response was, we did nothing wrong, should have been a little bit more transparent with you, I suppose. And if these guys continue with videos, I'm going to sue their asses. And he started beating his chest and saying that.
He said he didn't do anything legally wrong, which is different from him not doing anything wrong at all.
You know, at least legally speaking, everything's above board. And I understand that the question isn't so much legality and so much more about morality.
So yeah, technically it could have been all above board according to the IRS and according to everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, you know, that's kind of a...
Which I believe...
A different argument. Yeah, I believe that too. I don't think there's...
I don't think he's going to go to jail.
No.
He had to include things like, and if you do find discrepancies, they're clerical errors. Yeah, they fucked up, and he did lie. Like, somebody lied.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that I was not more straightforward regarding the Foundation's timeline for making donations, and that I made statements potentially implying donations were made when they had not yet been.
I found it kind of like Uncanny Valley, kind of like disconcerting to listen to him read a teleprompter that a lawyer wrote for him, but in that kind of completionist style of voice. It'd be like if Bimmy went up there and was like, I need you to know I didn't do anything legally wrong.
So my apologies, even though I'm not the one who did it.
Imagine if like his plagiarism thing was in character. That would have been amazing.
Oh, it'd be such a great fuck you to the audience in a way.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying I'm plagiarizing. That's when you steal words from somebody, else. So what I'm going to do is take a dump on that accusation.
Yeah.
Bombs away. Plagiarize this. That's what he does. So then some ordinary gamers decided to respond to the response, and he's now like, I think the evidence is implies, like we just said, that Gerard probably committed no crime, and I think he kind of starting to know that, but he wants to double down and defend his decision to go after this so hard.
It was like an hour of incoherent, like, talking in circles.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about this Some Ordinary Gamer guy. Like, I watched a lot of his videos of pertaining to this, and yeah, it's 5 minutes of information that he talks in circles for a half an hour or an hour. And, you know me, I'm very direct and to the point. I like I like to cut right to the thing. So when I can't listen to this stuff. It's too. It makes my brain swirl.
Yeah, we saw that it was an hour, and we were like, how does he already have like a full hour-long script?
Yeah, because in the very first minute of the thing, you said, I wrote out a script, and then clearly, no, you didn't.
Yeah, once you start listening, you're like, you didn't write shit.
If you see me reading, it's because I actually have a full prepared script.
It's certainly an interesting choice to respond that quickly after somebody is like, I'm coming after you legally if you continue with me. I mean, I'm not saying don't respond, but I would maybe sleep on it,
Between the two of them, Carl and Some Ordinary Gamer, Carl's way more listenable, way more direct, way like produces a much better video.
He actually presents the information, instead of like vomit it.
Some Ordinary Gamer is like very like vulgar too, which kind of diminishes his points. Especially if he's trying to be like a journalist, quote unquote.
Right.
So
yeah, he's coming off all, well, math does not fucking math, that kind of. I don't want to listen to you.
It doesn't lend credibility, yeah.
A lot of the details come off as like armchair IRS agent, where they really don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they're trying to sound like that they do.
At this point, his strongest case against Gerard is the fact that years went by without this thing donated, and Gerard's statement on why that has been inconsistent.
Even if they don't have him legally, they have him in the court of public opinion. Like, his reputation is tarnished.
And people will get over it probably, but it's worth mentioning that, like, this foundation fucked this up, and then they were not honest about fucking it up. And Gerard says so in so many words. I mean, he tries to diminish the point, but that really is what happened here.
Oh, we didn't mention that the money was donated. That did happen.
Yeah. The money, so $600,000.
That's kind of a big part of this.
Right. He wouldn't issue a statement probably until that had gone through.
Yeah.
I can confirm that as of Wednesday, November 29th, 2023, the Open Hand Foundation has donated $600,000 to the Association for Frontotemporal Degeneration.
Yeah, so they donated the money, and it just made me think, it's like, yeah, so when there's a fire under your ass, you can find the right person. But
well, I mean, they probably had to settle for like whatever at that point. They were just like, all right, whoever is going to take the money, we'll just do it, like just to get these people off our back.
After we watched his response, EJ was just like, what I did was not illegal, totally legal, did not commit a crime. You know, like that really was the only thing the guy wanted to state. You know, we're getting into pretty serious accusation territory. We're getting into like, if true, big lawsuit, class action lawsuit, prison time. Like, you know, charity fraud's no joke. The fact that outside of a courtroom, people are making videos at each other, incriminating the motherfucking hell out of each other. That's an interesting development of the new world, isn't it?
Well, I mean, in that way, Gerard's the smartest here because he has the least amount of, you know, time on tape talking about this.
So the reason to make a video, the reason to make a response is so that you can tell the people that you want to retain and the people who you want to have think well of you, the right story, so that they're not hearing it all from goblins.
And it doesn't seem like that's working. The video has a lot more dislikes than likes. Yeah.
From what I can tell on Twitter, Twitter's not really a big, you know, sometimes it's not real life, but it doesn't seem like people like the Completionist
anymore.
And it's not just goblins. It seems like it's everybody.
I really think that if he had said something quick, he could have maybe stopped the bleeding a little bit. But yeah, you're right. That video has 19,000 upvotes and 37,000 downvotes.
And that's just what they can track because, you know, the return dislike button doesn't track all of them anymore because it's not in like the metadata. They actually track how many people with the extensions downvoted, and that's how they get that number now.
Right. And then what, they kind of extrapolate it from there or something.
Yeah.
It's like how for like streaming ratings, the best they've got is like Samba TV or something.
Yeah, Samba and Nielsen. Yeah, Samba is anybody who has like, yeah, the Samba box or whatever.
Which is like nobody. I literally don't know anybody with that thing. But that's why the metric they always go with is like, it's 19% down from Ahsoka, you know, because they can compare Samba to Samba. That's probably not a great metric. One of the reasons we invited Jason on was Jason actually really likes this guy. And I got nothing against the Completionist.
He's you know, somebody I've followed since literally his first video, because his first video, like JonTron like shouted him out and everything.
Oh, is that how we got to start? JonTron shouted him out?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, they were roommates. They went to high school together. They were friends. They were
room goers.
Room goers in early JonTron episodes, not the ones that he filmed at his parents' house, but the era immediately after that. Gerard is the cameraman in those videos. So
that's crazy.
Like, yeah, they go back.
Oh, do you guys think if we play Chrono Trigger, it'll help reverse the spell? You fucking idiot!
And they had like a whole coalition. Was it like the normal boots or whatever?
Gerard actually didn't join. There was a whole bunch of drama. I could go on and on and on about drama like this. But there was some drama, and Gerard didn't join until after JonTron left. They had like a falling out or something, and John didn't want him in the thing. So like whatever. I don't know. It's a really long story.
JonTron just can't not have a falling out with somebody, can he?
Yeah, I know, right?
I feel him, man. I feel him. EJ's all I got left at this point. I get it.
Ride or die till the end.
I found it surprising to hear you say he's like one of your favorite YouTubers. Not because I don't get that. Well, go ahead.
I respect the grind. I mean, if you know, we're big in the slobbing, right? He's one of the best practitioners of slobbing out his work. He's done such an amazing job that his slobs are as beloved or more so than he is.
You can't tell man from slob due to the work that he's done.
Yeah, at this point, like he hasn't written his own videos in probably 10 years. It's slobbed out.
Wow. So, and he slobbed out the legal stuff, which, you know, I would too. That'd be great. That'd be great if somebody was like, I don't think you fucking wrote this. I think you got Justin from Screenwave to write this.
No, like he runs his own company. Like he's got a couple writers, a couple editors, and they're all like on his Let's Play channel, and people love all of them from there. And he's had like the same crew as slobs for many years. So people like him.
So you'd say like it's his business savvy that, you know, you admire, respect. Obviously he has.
Yeah, I mean, I respect. I mean, he puts out so many videos. Like it's like a factory. He puts out like 2 videos a week, and they're all like very well produced and very well made.
Is that right?
I haven't been a regular. Yeah, I haven't been a regular like viewer of his main show in many years, or even like his Let's Play channel. But there was a time where I watched like literally everything he put out.
every once in a while I'll be recommended like Sonic 3 re-review or something, and I'll check it out.
Well, that's some other drama he was in. So his original videos, he had a co-host for the first like 100, I think it was almost 200 episodes of his show. He
was redoing the first 100 or something. Yeah, right.
Because what happened is the co-host left and then threatened to sue if he didn't take down all of the videos. So he took down his original like 200 episodes of The Completionist, and he remade all of them. He's only has like 2 episodes left, I think, to remake.
With that said, one more game remains for New Game Plus.
I've been there before, where I've made content with people who, I don't know, they moved on in life. They didn't want the content out there anymore.
And you bullied them to keep it on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Gerard folded like a paper chair. He took them down and he's like, fuck you, I'm going to remake all of them. And then he did, so.
Well, you can understand. I mean, if you have that many eyeballs on the content, you probably don't want to be like forever embattled by somebody who doesn't want to be part of it. So I like the videos. One thing I don't like about the videos is they feel very TV to me. That like it feels like I'm going to be any moment. They're like a Happy Meal commercial is going to pop up, or they're going to tell me what's going to be on the nightly news tonight. Like I feel it has such a TV format, and so it doesn't feel all that YouTube. And I made the joke. I was like, he seems like the perfect guy for GTV or something.
And he was the main guy on the reboot of
I had no idea.
G4.
You just tell like he's the guy that you would recruit to be part of like, do you want to like headline a nerd show on real television?
Because he's safe. He's commercial. He's bland. His stuff never connected with me. I again, like Jason, I appreciate the grind and I appreciate the work that goes into it and the quality that he exudes with them, but it's not my content. It's not for me.
It's good content. You know, it's very well made. The coverage he's giving these games is good coverage. It's cool. I don't know. When it comes to YouTube and niche creators, aren't you looking for something a little bit less broad? Isn't that kind of the appeal? Because he's 4-quadrant YouTube, I'd say. He must be taking this thing really hard because he had a pretty flawless reputation.
He hasn't, like, his Let's Play channel continued to upload for a few days after this hit the fan, in episodes that he wasn't a part of, by the way. He's not in every episode of his Let's Play channel. That's how much people like the slobs. They're able to just accept that.
But everybody likes the slobs! Yeah, sorry. Just had to get that in.
So but like other than that, he hasn't been putting anything out. Like that was his first video since all this dropped. So, and that's the first time I think he's taken a break like that ever.
Poor Gerard. He probably should have donated that 600,000 fucking chamulis.
I sympathize because it probably wasn't his call to make. Like, again, like he's definitely the one who takes the biggest fall from this, even if he's not like the person to most blame.
Not everything's your fault when you're the boss, but everything's your responsibility.
But I'm trying to say is like, he's not even like the boss of this though. He's just the guy in the face of it.
But still, I think when he's doing these indie world streams, he thinks it's so like he's watching awesome games done quick and he sees all the charity and he wants to be like that. He wants to be seen as the wholesome giving money ever. And so he was just blabbing. He was blabbing and being a doof.
He was selling something he knew was bogus, at least the last like 2 indie lands, and that's not okay.
He covered it up. And he was sitting on 600,000. And the thing about like, it's not like there's no costs to sitting on $600,000 for years.
Inflation.
Yeah, it's like try buying something and let it sit in a box for 5 years. It's like it will have less value when you open it, unless you wait long enough. I'm sure behind the scenes he's pretty pissed at his family over this.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be. I'd fire my own dad.
Said he fired himself and is gonna not dip into charity for a long time. I'm
sure. It was so funny. I mean, not to harp on this, but it was so funny to listen to him land these kind of like big statements. Like, I'm leaving. This is the last time I'm talking about this and I'll sue your ass. He's just kind of saying this stuff as if it's all part of a cohesive narrative, but it wasn't. They were just these isolated statements that a lawyer told him to say. And, I hope he doesn't think that like the audience doesn't realize that that's probably why all the dislikes is like, do you think maybe you could speak from the heart a little bit? No, No, we can't speak from the heart because we actually did fuck up, and we actually need to say to the T what our lawyers told us to say.
Mention clerical errors, please.
So is the completionist finished?
I mean, he's going to try and come back for sure. We'll see if like it sticks.
You think he will, right? You think he'll be fine?
I think, in the long run, I think he'll be okay.
I mean, he's relying on 18-year-olds and younger to keep up with him, right? So they don't care.
Look, if Pro Jared is still around doing his thing, I think it's fine.
Now that's fascinating. Pro Jared, that little nasty thing.
I will say, Pro Jared, much more personal, much better video maker than the Completionist. Just if we're going off like individual YouTube videos.
Way better Tumblr.
You mean like his personability is more kind of suited for YouTube?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's more personable for sure, and like his style of content is a lot less robotic than the Completionist.
Well, I noticed his new show, is not called Pro Jared. He probably knows his own brand has been tainted by chaotic sex.
Sin Jared.
Sin Jared. That's whole nother video topic. But his new show is now in the 90s, and I get recommended it a lot.
Well, that's like a side thing. He's still doing like his own thing, but like now in the 90s is something that he's a part of too. Yeah, he didn't stop doing his stuff to do now in the 90s. It's like in addition to now I'm doing this.
Okay, I don't get recommended his main thing then. I see. I'm just as bad as the people who give us shit, where people are like, "So is AVGN stuff all you do?" I'm like, "No, it's all you're recommended."
Like Scott the Woz doesn't only do retro games. It's like, yeah, but that's all I get recommended is the old people games for grandpas.
Not funny. Like your only content is that which gets recommended. Really.
Now in the 90s actually reminds me a lot of how he got started. He was originally the news host on ScrewAttack.com. Every day he would host their news show, and it reminds me a lot of Now in the 90s.
He looks like Ganondorf's like teen son. All polygonal and everything. I'm scrolling through thumbnails here, and that's the first thing that I thought of.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.